He's always been faithful. He'll always be faithful. He's such a mighty God. You can hold strong to him and his word and everything he's done, everything he's said, all the promises he's made, because he's always going to be there. I am holding on to faith, 'cause I know you'll make a way. And I don't always understand, and I don't always get to see, but I will believe it. Yes, I will believe it. 'Cause you make mountains move. You now. Chains and one surrounding me, I lay on the ground. Can't keep digging up my past. May have had a laugh or two, but you won't get the rest. You might not recognize me now. Maybe I was blind, but now I see. Maybe I was bound, but now I'm free. Maybe you need reminding, you're under my feet. Maybe you're alive and I don't need. Maybe you should listen when I speak. Maybe you need reminding, you're under my feet. If you want scars, I'll show you scars. All the wounds upon the hands are like they pierced the dawn. If I was you, I'd be afraid. 'Cause everything you meant for fear, the cross is meant for grace. Maybe I was blind, but now I see. Maybe I was bound, but now I'm free. Maybe you need reminding, you're under my feet. Maybe you're alive that I don't need. Maybe you should listen when I speak. Maybe you need reminding, you're under my feet. Whoa, 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 whoa. I think it's time you meet my maker. Time you meet my maker. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I think it's time that you remember. Time that you remember. Maybe I was blind, but now I see. Maybe I was bound, but now I'm free. Maybe you need reminding, you're under my feet. Maybe you're alive that I don't need. Or maybe you should listen when I speak. Maybe you need reminding, you're under my feet. Maybe this is where we say farewell. Maybe you should get on back to hell. Maybe you need reminding, you're under my feet. You're under my feet. You're under my feet. You're under my feet. Lord, we just thank you for all that you do, all the battles you won, the enemy, the fear, and everything that we could tell, get out of my way, get out of my head, get out of my life. I've got the one who has won every single battle, who has paved the way for me, who has declared the goodness over my life. We thank you for that. We give you all the praise and all the glory in your precious name. Amen.
Come to the stage. Well, that's a fire right there. That worship. Oh, that's all. Well, that's a fire. So we got to have the devil is under our feet. Tonight I get the special honor to introduce our speaker tonight. And I was told not to stay up here too long, so One thing I can say about John is he's determined. He's determined. He's motivated. Nothing knocks him down. He's perseverance. I think about John. I think about perseverance. I think about no matter what. He did what he had to do to make it through the program. Not really just make it through the program, learning how to live. This is a new way to live. We're trying to learn how to live today because we didn't know how to live out there. I seen John go through some stuff that I seen a lot of other people run. Things didn't go his way. Things didn't go, the way, like I said, his way, and he stayed. He stick and stayed. He pressed in. That joker's got a drive, right? He's got a drive to better himself. Thug Nasty, Thug, Trap City Central, man, Trap Boy. My name's John, I'm a trap star. Now John is like it went from that to my name's John, I'm a Christ follower. My name's John, I'm a son of God, and I'm so proud of you, man. Like Matt said, man, we thank God that we get to watch, that we get to see the fruit. We get to see when you come in here thugged out, and now we get to see the fruit of you, giving your life to God, putting in the work and changing. Not just saying that, that you're changing, but seeing the fruit, seeing the change. I can't wait I've heard a lot of his testimony, but I can't wait to hear what God brings out of him. Will y'all please help me introduce my boy, John Olsen.
How's everybody doing tonight? Just in case any of y'all here today, man, you could have been anywhere but here, man, and y'all were here, and I'm proud of every one of y'all here, man. For real, I love all of y'all, even though I don't even know your name. All right, I want to start this out with a prayer. Father God, I come to you humbly asking you for the strength and courage of David when he faced Goliath. For this right here is a huge giant for me, and I know you didn't bring me this far just to let me fail now in front of all these people. And in Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen. Funny thing is, I was hoping all that, like, man, hopefully like 5, 6 people in here, and of course, look at this.
About 105.
All right, so we'll start this out with a question. If you had a chance, would you take it? Just let that simmer in your spirit for a little while as I go amongst this thing. But I was born, 1987, 1980s baby. I was born in Augusta. The earliest memories I can remember staying out, I lived out in Burke County until I was about 5. I remember sneaking my first beer at 3 years old. My mom was in there, I ran off with a little Budweiser, run across the little propane tank, popped the thing open and drank it at 3 years old. We moved around a good little bit as when I was young. Back then, I didn't know with the generational curses and things like that, and little did I know that I was cursed on both sides. My mom, I'm not gonna put no dirt on her name, but she had her problems, just like everybody else, and she tried to fight it, but it got the best of her at certain times that I can remember as a kid. She would drink, and I can remember 8 years old having to go to court for the first time because I'm trying to fight her and my stepdad getting into an argument or whatever, and he hit her, and I can remember trying to fight at 8 years old, and that stuff for as long as I can remember, that kind of stuck with me because when I get around people arguing as I was coming up, man, I would just get real anxious and stuff like that, man, and that stuff sticks with you. But anyways, coming up, I was a pretty smart kid. I can remember I made principal's honor roll all the way to about middle school, going into high school. I got into the first trouble we got into, I remember, it was about 9. I was about 9 years old. We demolished some little girl was being rude to us, and we destroyed her little bike. My mom had to pay for that. Then I moved out towards in between Grovetown and Harlem. Over there, I don't know if y'all know where Uchi Creek Elementary is. We stayed right by the windmill house. I lived there for about 18 years. And when I was 13 is when we first really got into trouble. I was 13, my little brother was 10. We was with this guy, he was like 16 at the time. And we thought it'd be cool and fun to go to the little Baker's Place bridge and throw rocks off the overpass on the cars, see if we could hit them. Well, eventually we ended up knocking out 13 or 14 car windshields. And we get caught, of course. Since we were juveniles, they could only charge us with like 3 felonies at one time. So we got into that, and that's really what started the whole crazy debacle of everything. Because once me and my little brother got on probation, I mean, it just got crazy. Like, we ended up having to go to like community service and hanging around like troubled youth like we were, because we were out in the country. There wasn't very many people around in that area. So we're getting around these people and we get exposed to like weed and things like that, and I smoked it for the first time at 13, and like I said, I was a pretty smart kid, and like I figured out, like, hey man, I could buy this bag right here, split this thing up, and then I can make a little bit of money off this thing. Because when I was coming up, man, I was poor. Like my mom, she tried her best to do what she could do with what she had, you know, but I mean, I wasn't rocking the polo and stuff like that back then. We'd have to get like Walmart stuff, and I really think that's what like started the whole trying to sell drugs and stuff like that, just to get a nice clothes. Because I went to Columbia County schools, and back in the day, like Grovetown and stuff like that, it wasn't like ritzy like it is now. I mean, so back then when you told like a girl from Lakeside or Greenbrier, like, hey, yeah, I live out in Grovetown, they look at you like, ugh, get away from me, you know? So like, and I was going to like kind of parties back then, and I'm like, well, hey man, I'm trying to holler at y'all, you know, like, I can't do it in Walmart clothes though, so, you know, I figured out to start to sell the drugs or whatever, and that's how, you know, I started buying the polo, you know, and I was a pretty shy kid coming up, and then when I got about 15, I discovered what cocaine was, and you know, shyness on cocaine, you know, and then I got plugged in with that. I had this like weird knack to like gravitate towards the people that, you know what I'm saying, that sold it and had weight or whatever. It was weird. I mean, they knew I could sell it, I could move it or whatever. Later on in life, I found out that I come from a long line of hustlers on my family too. It's insane. How that stuff's genetic, I think. But so I started getting into cocaine, and 15 years old, one summer or whatever, I was hanging out with some of my homeboys partying out there in Haverhill, and they were like, hey man, you wanna try this stuff right here? I'm like, man, what's that? They're like, oh man, it's ice. I'm like, yeah, whatever, why not? So I hit this thing, and me and my homeboys partying, and like, it was the craziest thing. Like, we go through a whole bottle, we go through a whole lid, zip, and I'm looking at him like, bruh, what did you just give me, dog? Like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, I should be like incapacitated right now, you know? And I didn't mess with it and for like 3 more years until I'm 18. And I get kicked out of school, too much ISS. Like, I'm up in ISS with highlighters filled with Xanax. It's just I didn't even give a crap anymore. I mean, it got pretty bad once getting that cocaine in me. And well, once I got kicked out of high school, me and my little brother were hanging out at the bus stop because he was going to Crossroads. And we out there smoking at the bus stop or whatnot. And he goes to school, and like I go back to the house or whatnot, and later on that day, he gets arrested at the school. And then they come, I got like a couple of cops in our probation, we had Miss Poss, she was our probation officer back then as juveniles. She comes back, they all come into the house, and they're like, hey, were you out at the bus stop smoking with your brother? I'm like, what you talking about? Smoking at the bus stop. Like, well, your brother, he's pretty high. And long story short, my little brother was in and out of YD since he was 10. And like, he had just got out. And I ended up taking the charge for him. And since I wasn't in school anymore, they got me for contributing to a minor. So they ended up arresting me and putting me in Columbia County. And I get bonded out or whatnot. And I end up getting into this thing called Youth Challenge, which I feel bad about it, and like, because I missed the deadline by like 2 weeks. But I aced it. Then you take this test called like the TABE test or something, test of the adult basic education or something or another. And I had to take it twice because the first time I took it, I aced it. They thought I cheated. So I took it again and I aced it again. And since I was 2 weeks late, they bumped me in somebody else's spot. And I feel bad for later on because, I mean, I made it a week and a half, but I ended up failing the drug test. So, I mean, I felt bad that I took somebody's spot. That probably would have ended up making it, but man, I was playing games back then. I did it to get out of jail. They told me I had to get my GED, so as soon as I get out of there, I have like 3 days. So I ended up going to Marvin Methodist, right up there on Bel Air Road. And since I was under 18, I had to get like permission from the state, I took their little pre-test, aced it, so they sent me to Augusta Tech to take a little GED, and of course, I mean, I scored really high on it. So I got my GED, and then shortly after that, my stepsister, she has her husband who's in the military, and he did this thing called computer networking. He was setting up like subnetting IP addresses, and I was like, I'm good with numbers and stuff. So I was like, hey man, what is this right here? And he showed me what it was, man. I fell in love with that stuff, man. And I went ahead and like a week later enrolled at Augusta Tech, and I started going to Augusta Tech for computer networking. Well, fast forward, as while I'm going to school, I'm all doped out. I mean, I dean's list, but I mean, I'm in the classroom with my shades on, taking exams because I mean, I'm stuck for so long. My pupils look crazy. I ain't with my professors, and then they're like, "Hey man, there's something going on with this cat." So, like I said, I dean's list every quarter that I'm there, and I get to the point where I hook up. I meet this girl on MySpace back then. That tells you how old I am. So I meet this girl up or whatever. We start partying, hanging out or whatnot, and I ended up getting her pregnant. And like, I was 18, 19 years old, I grew without my dad, and freaking out or whatnot. And so I'm 6 classes away from my degree. I mean, I got my teacher setting me up for a job at the NSA. NSA's right being built out there and all that, man, making like 80 grand a year back when I was 19, 20 years old. And I quit and started working. Her stepdad at the time owned a brick mason company. And at the time, I thought that was the right thing to do. I had to support her and the kid and everything like that. Well, long story short, me and her break up. And of course, I look like a dummy because I'm not back in school. And I remember I'm with this other girl, like 2 months later, the baby's born, and I'm hanging out. He was born July 6th. And I get a call from her. It's like, hey, the baby's born. You need to come up here to the hospital. So I'm like, okay, well, I come up there. I see the baby one time, and she's like, all right, well, we're about to go home. Just meet us at the house or whatever. And I go to Walmart, buy them a bunch of stuff, and as soon as they get to the house, she won't even answer the door. She's like, oh, I'm with this new guy, you know how to kick rocks. So, I mean, that hurt. And that's like when the meth really got out of control. Like, I was playing with like a little weekend warrior, and at that time, man, I started just doing it. Tried to commit suicide a couple of times, man. Slit my arm all the way up. I tried to overdose a couple of times, and I mean, God had purpose for me. Like I should have been dead then, but as time goes on, I'm playing around with it, messing, doing this, that, or another, or whatever. It did like I'm trying to get myself straight, but it doesn't work out, and then I end up meeting this other girl on Facebook. This time, that's when Facebook gets popular, and I meet her, and me and her kick it for about 2 or 3 months, and I go out of town, and I'm just like, I'm having a blast in Atlanta. My homeboy's going into the Air Force, so I was like, hey man, when we get back now, I'm about to kick China to the curb. Like, I'm not feeling this no more. And the last night we're there, I get a phone call, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm just like, wow, okay. So I stay with her, I'll try to get things right. I had a decent job. I was working actually at Little Caesars. I was an assistant manager there at the time, and they were talking about giving me my own store and everything like that. And then the recession back when I think it was Obama or whatever was in office, it happens, and like I lost my job over some stupid stuff, like real stupid stuff. And like I literally put in 60 applications at the jobs or whatever, and nobody would hire me. So you know what? I was like, well, back to business then. So I made a phone call, whatever. My homeboy put me on, and I started selling. This was weed. I had a good plug on the weed, and I'm moving it for a while, doing pretty good or whatnot, having money saved up and yada yada yada. And like my mom's, she gets mad at me one day, and she calls the police on me, and they found me with like a little over like a half a pound right there I was staying in Creekside, 2 bars. And then I get whammed up for that felony, and then And that's really what messed me up there too, because like I said, I was planning on going back to school to finish some 6 little classes. That wasn't even nothing, man. They were easy 6 classes too. But since like that felony hit me, you can't get like security clearance. I don't know what y'all know about like the IT department or whatnot, but you really gotta have like security clearances and stuff like that. And that messed me up. So when I get on probation, I'm good for a little while. I switched to Spice. And y'all know what that is. And I with that, and me and my daughter's mom, we're together. We're just, you know what I'm saying? It's horrible. I'm sitting there forcing it, trying to make it work or whatnot. And I'm working at 4T's Computers, doing like IT stuff for like Richmond County. I was basically a temp, but I mean, like I said, I'm good on the Spice for a little while, and like then just stuff me and her is real bad, you know, and I just go right back. My little brother, I mean, he's up there doing his thing, and I try to stay away from it, and then I get back on it, and and then like I say, every time that you stop and come back to it, you pick right back where you left off at, and that's a fact. If you don't know that yet. And I got back into it, like moving it, doing the thing or whatnot, and ended up leaving her, or actually no, she tried to set me up on a warrant that I was running from for a couple of years. And we beat that. I got locked up for that because her dad started working for Grovetown Police Department. And after I get out of jail with that or whatnot, you know, I sit there, I'm trying to change, you know, still smoking, still doing the Zan thing, and moving some. And then I hook up with this other girl. This one right here was like real toxic. And while I'm with her, I'm just doing a lot of stupid stuff. Like I got a little trap house in Harlem, like right next to Dollar General in Harlem, like the unsafest place in America to do that kind of stuff. And I mean, I'm just riding around 4 a.m, reading up with no insurance, with no license, just reckless, man. And things get like real bad. We're together for like 8 months, man, and that evilness inside of me starts to kick back in, and I'm like trying to get up out of it. Like at this point, I'm pushing guns, you know, I'm hitting licks. I mean, I'm doing the most right at that point, you know. And one night, I got this gun to my head, sitting there screaming, crying like a little girl, begging to God, like, God, if you're real, I beg you for a change. And I'm sitting there like, I just want to pull the trigger. Every bit of muscle in my body, I'm sitting there trying to pull this thing, you know what I'm saying? And it does not, if something, I'm seeing like pictures of my daughter in my head, and I'm going crazy. And the next day, I got a family member that had a farm. And my mom moved out there or whatnot, and he asking me, is there any way that I can help him do some stuff? So for the next 3 years, I'm on a farm, you know, and I quit the meth. I was smoking weed every day. Like Country Chris says, that chemo, and it was a good 3 years, man. Like, I learned a lot. Like, I learned how to use power tools. You know, I learned how to run plumbing. I learned how to run electrical. I learned how to grow things, man, and everything like that, man. And at the time, man, I thought, I was like, yeah, man, I'm finally going to get away from all this stuff, man. I'm finally going to get my life together and things like that. And stuff between me and him starts to go kind of like south. And he ends up booting me from the farm, and I didn't have nowhere to go, man. At that time, like, I had invested everything in that right there, because I thought that's what God wanted, you know? And so when he boots me from the farm, like I just said, picked up right where you left off, and I mean, I hit the ground running. As soon as I relapsed, made a phone call, 4-way, dropped off, just like that. Dropped right back in the thing, man. And that's when it got at the worst. Like, well, that's when my baby mama stopped letting me see my little girl, and like there were some bad times, man. And I ain't talking about my daughter very much at this thing, man. Me and my daughter were like this, man. Like, I ain't really had love for nothing in my life until God sent me my daughter, man. Like, my daughter was my everything. Like, I know it might be so bad to say to y'all now, but at that time, man, I'd go to war with God with my daughter, man. Like, my daughter was everything to me. And when my baby mama knew she got that power and she kept it from me, man, I had felt so much pain and anger, you know, and I wanted to take it out on anything and anybody. So, I mean, I go back out there and start moving, start doing it. I'm bouncing all around, you know, like I'm with Bay right there at this point, and just trying to make things work, man, and do what I'm trying to do. I try to keep a steady job and still moving on the side. That way I can keep up appearances to people. And it just started getting horrible. Like me and her were staying together for a little while down there on Lake Ave, down there at Lake Olmsted, and some stuff happened. Her brother walked out one night, saw me with a knife in my throat one night, and like I guess he was tripping and didn't want me there no more, so I had to leave from there, you know. And I'm homeless, hopping around trying to figure out something. My sister let me stay with her, and then on my dad's side, I don't really know that side of that family. And my sister on his side, she reached out to me and had me staying with her, wanted me to stay with her out there on Blueberry, over there off Lumpkin Road by Butler High School. So like me and her, we end up going out there and staying with her and whatnot, and I'm a dummy. I flashed out the dope. I mean, I was flexing. I showed her a little bit of dope. She's like, ooh, I like doing that. I said, oh yeah. So I started giving her dope and stuff like that, and like all of a sudden, like she flips the script on us, man. She's stealing stuff from out of the house and then running next door to my grandma, telling her that I'm over here stealing this, that, and another or whatever. She sees all the guns that I got, and like it just starts to get crazy over there. And like me, I'm freaking out because like, for one, I got some stuff I shouldn't have, and for two, I'm trying to get my daughter back, and for three, I'm moved out to Richmond County to try to get away from all the heat that I had going down to Columbia County, and I don't want none of these police even know my name or even know that I live in this area right here, you know? So like, I start freaking out, and and at a point in time, man, like my head, I'm flipping out, and one night, it's me and Bay, and like I'm spazzing, and like I got my bottle, whatever. I catch that thing on fire, man. I'm like, man, that ain't real, bro. Catch it on fire. I'm in there destroying it, all my stuff up in there, doing whatever. And I guess she freaks out and leaves, man. And we about to get real deep right here. So she leaves, and she takes my little paycheck, right? And I call her. I'm like, hey, man, what'd you do with my paycheck? Like, what's up, whatever. She told me that she took it because she didn't want me to destroy it. So I gave her an ultimatum that if she didn't bring me back that check before I made it all the way back to their house, that I was putting a hole in her and her brother's head. And I had my two guns that I went everywhere with, and I started walking up towards Lumpkin Road and making my way that way. And she pulls up, like a little bit before I get to the end over about off Lumpkin, and I put a gun to her stomach, man, and she's freaking out. Like I almost shot her. Like. That's how like crazy demented I was, man. Like I was out there. I really can't get into too deep of context of what I did with all that, but I mean I'm doing all these drugs and stuff like that to numb myself. And after a while, you know that self-medication doesn't work. You have to find something else to feel something. So I started doing robberies and stuff like that because I got that adrenaline rush. And it's sick, man, like how excited and stuff it made me, and I just hate that it came to that. But fast forward a little bit more, man, I ended up in Grovetown, and one night something tells me to leave my pistols somewhere, and I'm over there hanging out, and I jump on my dirt bike. I've been up for about 3 weeks. I'm riding on this dirt bike, and I'm riding out there to get it, and I only brought like a little bit of stuff in the thing and one Klonopin, just enough to get me there and back. And I get pulled over for not having a helmet on. And all the stuff that I had and all the stuff that I was doing, man, it took me riding a dirt bike with no helmet to get locked up. And that's when I got locked up there, man, I stayed in jail for about a week. And when I got out, like in that jail is where I found God. Like it's crazy. There's these guys that were doing Bible study and whatnot, and I didn't even want to be a part of it. And then the guys go outside and they're out there praying and talking, and then I felt compelled to walk up to them and talk to them, and they prayed with me and everything. And from that point on, I was like, wow, like I got hit hard, like spiritually, man. And as soon as I get out of jail, I go and get high one more time. And I felt convicted, like I was like, man, I can't be doing this no more, man. And I reached out, I finally swallowed my pride and reached out on Facebook. It was like, hey man, I need help, like real bad. And sure enough, somebody put me in touch with Frank there, and I hit him up or whatever, and then 4 days later, I'm in Prodigal. You know, and it was just crazy. But I'm just so glad for that, and man, I can't even explain the gratitude I have for that, man. In the beginning, like I was playing some like hardcore games. I mean, I told myself that, you know, I'm not an addict, I sold the addicts, you know what I'm saying? I did all that dope to stay up, to be able to serve these people, you know what I'm saying? It took me 6 months inside of Prodigal to be like, yo, I'm an addict. And I don't know if they're gonna show the pictures, but the one of my daughter, if they're gonna pull it up here, this is the last time I seen my daughter. I was working at Horns, and I prayed every day, please put me in Harlem, please put me in Harlem, please put me in Harlem, because she went to school there. So finally, I get to stop out there in Harlem, and I finally see her, or whatever. And this is what broke me. I was eating lunch with her, and I was like, she's like, well, Daddy, I miss you. When am I gonna get to see you again? I'm like, well, baby, it's not gonna be long. And I hold my promises to my daughter in like the highest, like that's up there with Christ. You know what I'm saying? It's up there because I never broke a promise. And I told her, I was like, well, baby, I promise you it's not going to be much longer. It's like, you know, Daddy never lied to you. And then she looks at me and says, Daddy, you did lie to me. I was like, what you mean, baby? She said, you told me you would never get locked up again. And I lost it, y'all. Like, I lost it. And from that day on, you know, I started submitting. And I was like, yeah, no, I can't do that no more. That's foul, you know. And I mean, I know I just did this news thing not too long ago, and I got some flack off of saying like God wanted me to do drugs, but I guess I said that the wrong way. But God didn't stop me from doing the things that I did because He had purpose. He knows that I'm stubborn and hard-headed, and that I'm not going to just do it just cause, you know what I mean? There has to be something to deter me to get my mind right, because like He told you, I'm driven, I'm determined. Like you ain't about to tell me nothing. If I can't get it to click in here and here, I'm not going to do it. But once I get my eyes set on something, I go hard, like all or nothing for me, you know. And that's when I finally got this thing together, man. And it's Prodigal, man. I just thank God that, you know, they gave me the opportunity. Frank, Matt, Andrew, you know, they gave me a shot, man. And so, like where I come from, man, you don't get many chances. There's not many chances at all, man. And I'm just thankful for that chance that they gave me here. And so back to what I was asking y'all at the beginning, if you had a chance, would you take it? You know, like here tonight, you have a chance. You have an opportunity to let go of anything you want to let go. You have an opportunity to give yourself over to the Lord. You have an opportunity to do any of that kind of things. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we all know somebody who ain't here tonight, who ain't making it through this. You know, many are called, but few were chosen. You know what I'm saying? Like, we answered that call, you know? Because y'all are here tonight, man. Like I said, y'all could have been anywhere, but you're here right now. You know what I'm saying? So don't blow your chance. Don't blow that shot, man. You know what I'm saying? And just get with it, you know, and have faith. Because I mean, I'll tell you, if I can make it, anybody can make it, man. Like there's so much more I could have told y'all, but like I said, I'm spooked, open investigations, statutes of limitations, and things of that nature. But you had to buy my book in a couple of years. But yeah, man, just bring it on down here on this altar call, man. Just give it up, man. Don't let that be bound with this stuff, man. Release, free your mind, free your soul, you know. So with that, you know what I'm saying? That's what I got. Woo! Thanks for letting me share.
We got one more song for you guys. The altar is open for anybody that wants to come up and pray. John, don't go far. If anybody wants to pray with you, stay close, man. Great testimony. But if y'all just worship with us, like we said, the altar is open for prayer for anybody that needs it.
Beneath the surface of my anxious imagination beckons a calmness that is found in you alone. It washes away every delicate imperfection. Jesus, your presence when you're singing.